Good morning, Madam President, members on this side, members on the opposition, and all else who are here in this honorable House. I rise just to make a brief statement under statements by ministers. And Madam President, of course you know that, and the House would know, and all who are listening and viewing would know that I'm charged with the responsibilities of various portfolios. And one of the portfolios is culture. I just want to make a brief statement with regards to Culturama 50. Of course, we are all aware that we had a very successful festival for 49. That is earlier this year, July, August. And of course, to the run-up to the festival and during the festival, I'm sure all who would have been glued to their radios and their televisions, those who would have been following online, would recall that we have been saying for quite some time that next year we celebrate the 50th anniversary of the festival, which is indeed a milestone. And to celebrate this milestone, we are preparing. We would have started to prepare even during the course of Culturama 49. And because we decided we wanted to start so early with our preparation, we would have launched the slogan competition during the festival for 49. And I am pleased to report that we do have a winner, and so we can now begin to market very vigorously next year's festival. I am pleased to announce to this honorable House that the winning slogan is Celebrating Culture, Embracing History. It's Culturama 50. Now, the winning slogan was penned by Ms. Carmel Allen, and that slogan was chosen from 292 entries that were accepted between the period July the 27th until September the 30th, 2023. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate Ms. Allen on penning the winning slogan, and I also want to thank all those who would have participated in the slogan competition. Every year we get a number of slogans, and of course persons are always very creative in terms of what they put pen to paper and come up with for their slogans. And I want to congratulate Ms. Allen and once again thank all who would have taken part. For Ms. Allen, the person who penned the winning slogan, she will receive a cash prize of $500, which of course I would have introduced when I became the Minister of Culture in 2017. And she will also receive 2 complimentary passes to all Culturama 50 events, as well as a plaque. Now, Culturama 50, our milestone event, will take place from July the 25th until August the 6th, 2024. And the reason why I wanted to speak to Culturama 50 today is because Culturama 50 has been billed as a homecoming event. And I wanted specifically to speak to members of the Nevision community and other persons in the diaspora. We did have a homecoming for Culturama 40. It was a huge success, and we're expecting an even bigger success. We're expecting a massive success for Culturama 50. And ever since we would have billed it as a homecoming, the interest has been increasing, especially with our Nevisians who are living in the diaspora. Persons who were here for Culturama 50, those who I would have gotten the chance to speak to, all promised that they will be back for next year, and they're bringing many other persons with them. And so I want to remind persons in the diaspora, and of course this is not just for Nevisians, but for visitors who will be thinking of coming to Culturama next year, we are reminding you that you ought to book your tickets early. You ought to ensure that you reserve your vacation early, because I'm assuming that persons who will be coming will not just be coming for a weekend, but will come for the entire festival, since it is a homecoming and it's a milestone. We are asking you as well to try to reserve your accommodation. For those of you who do not have accommodation, those of you who do not have a house here, those of you who may not have relatives who have the accommodation for you, we're asking you to start booking your accommodation early. And the reason why I'm saying that, the reason why I'm sounding this warning, is because many persons have already been booking their accommodation. I could recall a couple of weeks ago, just as Culturama 49 was finished, I received a call from a young man, and he said, I have several relatives from overseas, and they want to have an idea as to what is the exact date, because they want to start booking their accommodation. Persons have already been booking their accommodation. Only last week I spoke to someone, and they said that one car rental has already had all of their vehicles reserved for Culturama 50. We do not want people to come to Nevis and be disappointed in any way. We want you, when you come, that you have whatever amenities you want. If you want a car rental, book in advance and start booking now. Start booking accommodation. I believe, Madam President, that based on the enthusiasm that is already out there, based on the response that we have already been getting, that we will have record numbers of visitors to the island of Nevis. And so we are also looking at persons coming who cannot get accommodation on Nevis and will be able to stay on St. Kitts as well. When we have music festival in St. Kitts, persons come to Nevis and they stay in Nevis and they travel back and forth. We know, of course, that the water taxi facility is there, the Charlestown Pier is here, and travel between St. Kitts and Nevis is now very seamless. And there are a lot of options for you in terms of ferry operators. And so, if persons want to come to Nevis, those of you who are listening and viewing from overseas, and you cannot get accommodation on Nevis, you can get accommodation on St. Kitts. The Park Hyatt is just 7 minutes away from Nevis. 7 minutes away. Park Hyatt is actually closer to Nevis than Bastille. And so that is an option for you. The Marriott is there, other hotels are there. And so if you cannot get your accommodation on the island of Nevis, that does not mean that you should not come and experience what promises to be the best Culturama experience ever. And so once again, I'm sounding the warning to persons who are overseas: book your ticket early, reserve your accommodation early, reserve your car rental early. And I'm also saying as well to some of our homeowners, those of you who may have space in your house, you may be able to make $1 because persons may be able to come and say, well, I want a room. Or if you have a basement that can be rented out, persons may say, I want a room. And so it's an opportunity for us here on the island of Nevis, and it's an opportunity to make a little bit of additional money for many persons. We believe, as I said, that it will be a memorable occasion, and so we're encouraging all of our nationals living overseas, to get yourselves here for what promises to be an amazing festival. And while I speak about Culturama as well, I just wanted to remind persons who are residing here that registration is now open for our major shows, the Miss Culture Swimwear, the Mr. Cool, and persons have already been showing an interest. And I believe that because of the interest, we may even have to have an elimination process. But the registration process is open. You can go in or contact or go online and make your registration with the Culturama Secretariat. One other quick thing I wanted to say, Madam President, before I take my seat. I am the Minister of Agriculture, and World Food Day 2023 was observed this year under the theme, Water is Life, Water is Food, Leave No One Behind. There were a number of activities planned for a week. Unfortunately, we had to postpone one of the events because of the weather. But I just wanted to say here, I just wanted to place on record how impressed I was. Because during the week, we had a visit to the primary schools. We are having a primary school agriculture competition, a garden competition. And Madam President, I was totally impressed with what I see happening in our primary schools. I think almost all of the primary schools are part of the competition, and I was really blown away with how creative, how involved the students and the teachers are in agriculture. And I think this augurs well for our agriculture industry. It augurs well for food security, and food sovereignty here on the island of Nevis. So I want to take this opportunity to commend the Department and the Ministry of Agriculture for organizing this competition, and commend very highly all of the schools who are taking part, and how impressed I was with their involvement. May it please you, Madam President.